Hello friends and welcome back for episode 9 of our Terraria 1.2 Let's Play. So, today's a nice relaxing rainy day in Terraria world, and I want to go over a couple things that I've actually had mentioned in previous comments, and I have to thank you for all of the great tips and tricks and techniques and, suggestions and all that stuff. It's all really good, and it's all really helpful and constructive. There are a couple, though, that didn't quite work the way I was hoping they would. One of the things was somebody mentioned that I could use my mining pickaxe on glow sticks to pick them back up. Doesn't seem to be the case. I dug this through the floor trying to pick it up, and then that's why it's down here. I have tried holding shift as well to see if that would produce the tool necessary. It doesn't seem to be the case. I've tried all of them. So yeah, no glow stick picking up again, apparently. So either maybe that was patched out or a misnomer, I don't know, maybe miscommunication. The other one is being able to use items from within your inventory. Now this might be because I have the game set to be locked, like paused when I'm in my inventory, but yeah, you're supposed to be able to just grab things and drag them out and use them. That's probably why, I'll be honest, but yeah. So I gotta actually put it in my hotbar. Regardless, not a huge deal. I can handle doing that anyway. There we go. So, extra mana to start us off. So what are we going to be doing today is the question that I'm sure you've been wondering. Well, I've been wandering back and forth. Well, if you've noticed, I am missing some better equipment for my helmet and for my chainmail vest, chest piece, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to go ahead and open up the map, and we're going to take a look down here somewhere and just do a little bit more digging, searching around. And also people mentioned that there was a sky island above the one that spawned. No, it's there, but it's just this little puff of cloud. It's not actually a thing. There's nothing to explore there, so just to ease your minds, I didn't just miss the other sky cloud. I just noticed that it was there and tiny, and I shouldn't bother with it. So we're going to go down in the depths, do some mining, get some more ingredients for stuff. You guys have mentioned I should talk to the man about setting up different catalysts, possibly, for creating new items, materials-wise. I'll probably do that at some point as well. I've also had people suggest that maybe I should build some sort of a magic casting device. That was a very poor grapple there. Staff, I believe, is the word that we use for that. Also, something that's not outside of the realm of possibility. What is this green mushroom here? This is adorable. I want one. Also, people tell me... Oh, it's just a green mushroom. Fair enough. People keep telling me to use the shift key, and that it is a contextual item changer thingy. I know. I've known since the beginning, really. I just keep forgetting to use it. Hopefully, I will correct my horrible ways eventually, apologies for any episodes that have been particularly dark. I have looked through the Terraria settings to make sure I didn't just miss out on some chance to turn up the brightness of the game in general. Does not seem to be the case. There is no brightness setting. I could possibly turn up the brightness in post, if that's a thing that we need to do. For now, I'll just try my best to remember to use shift more often. I've also had people suggest to use the flare gun more. Not that I'm actually against that. That's actually not a bad idea. I just haven't done it, really. I mean, maybe I could. I probably should. But I like using torches because I know exactly where they're going to go, and I don't have to worry so much about, lighting stuff on fire. I guess that's probably a good thing, really, because lighting stuff on fire is really just going to help me, right? It's not going to light me on fire. This is awkward. There we go. And, yes, I know about the grappling hook thing. That's another comment that I've seen come up a couple times, that I could have a longer grappling hook depending on what kind of jewel I use. And people saying that I should have used this jewel or that jewel, or made a regular hook. I know. I've had grappling hooks before. Like I said, I've had a lot of hours in this game. I believe probably around over 100 by now. So I am aware of some of the basic stuff, and grappling hooks are definitely a thing that I have gotten into before. So I will try and do my best to continue that trend. And I also am aware that maybe some of you aren't super into watching me mine for hours. And I thought a little bit about what to do with that. I don't really want to just cut through all of it, because I kind of enjoy the fact that we're documenting all the progress for the most part. Aside from maybe some of the more tedious and time-consuming building stuff. Oh, speaking of building stuff, I also addressed the spacing issue with the saplings up on the top level there. So they're all spaced properly now, and the trees should hopefully grow. No promises, but, I set them with, 2 spaces between them or so, and leveled out some of the ground And I'm not sure how picky the game engine, the game engine is about, having spaces with, like, half blocks or slants. So I just basically just made them as flat as possible and put 2 spaces between each sapling. And, so while we're down here, I will try and work on my pressing shift as often as possible. Just looking for a little bit more lead. I'm hoping this won't take a particularly long time, and if it doesn't, we can go ahead and head right back out. A bunch of people on the last episode had commented things like that they expect possibly the Eye of Cthulhu will show up, and that is probably not that impossible to happen. So what I did to counter that is, you'll notice I have 345 flaming arrows right now, so if he does show his big ol' eye, I will try and shoot him to death with those. Probably to some decent effect, as long as I have a reasonably big area to fight him in. I don't remember ever having a particularly difficult time taking him out, even with the pretty minimal basic stuff that I've got going on in my armor right now. And I see something flashing over there. It's probably just blink root or something. Just throw a couple more torches in. What else? There were plenty other comments. Somebody mentioned I should look up glass bottles and, like, alchemists or something. I will probably do that as well. I need to also see about how many rooms are necessary to keep building, because I probably have to, like, add another floor onto my house, perhaps. Stupid sand falling on my head. I'm actually glad to find some sand. Oh, and there's some lead. Because I wanted to make a little bit more glass stuff, so having sand around is not a bad thing at all. As long as it doesn't fall on my head, that's all I'm worried about. I probably should have looked ahead of time to see how much lead I'm going to need to fulfill all of my building quotas. Probably not all that much, but still. What is it? So I need 25 bars, probably between 25 and 30 bars for the chest piece, and then probably another 25 to 30 bars for the helmet. Maybe that's a little less, I never remember. So yeah, it's probably going to take a bunch of veins of that for that to finish out. I can handle it. I think we're going to be just fine. As long as you guys don't get too bored. If you do get too bored, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. Just, scan through the episode and look for parts where it looks like it's not dark anymore. I guess that's a quick way to find out. Wow, okay, did I just find a big old stack of, what is this stuff again? Tungsten, right, which is better, actually, than what I'm looking for right now. So if I can actually go ahead and make even better armor, then everybody wins, right? Higher chance of survival in all respects. I'm not sure how far down I really need to go to start to get to some of the better, juicier ores. I am also aware the demon altars are a thing that I need to handle. I probably need to start breaking some of those, and they should introduce some new materials to the landscape. I'm not sure where they're going to put them, but I think that's part of the fun, right? They're random. Makes a scavenger hunt out of the situation. I know we don't want to stay down here for too long, and I know that it gets a little bit tedious watching me necessarily just be in the same spot, slowly kind of digging away. I mean, I sort of just already addressed this a moment ago, but, like, yeah, I hear you, I understand. But I think I'm going to err on the side of just documenting stuff. So, yeah, like I said, if you want to skip ahead, feel free. Shouldn't be all that long, though, so if you want to stick around, you're entirely welcome to. Alright, there's a lot of sand there, probably not anything too useful. What's going on below? I can't really see. Torches go out. Maybe I'll dig off in this direction, then. You mentioned something about that I could take my balloon into the guide, right? And that there's something I could synthesize using that to make some sort of custom item. I like the sound of that. I might have to investigate what exactly that is about very soon. Custom stuff sounds pretty exciting to me. What's this in the wall here? Oh my goodness, I found a bunch of gold. Hooray! Alright, well, that's pretty good news. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to make anything substantial out of, but I like finding it nonetheless. It's probably the largest cache of gold we've found so far out of the 2. And a little bit more tungsten is always good as well. Man, I was right there, right next to that wall of gold, and I almost walked right by it. Makes you wonder, right? Like, how many other times have you just walked by a big fat stack of some kind of ore that you kind of want, and you just chose not to go in that direction for some reason, and you miss out? It's weird how that works. So, what am I going to develop my character as? Oh, I got a swiftness potion. As far as, progression mechanics, like what kind of character do I want to be, like a class, if we were to assign one of those? Well, I'm pretty versatile in general when it comes to how I like to play the game. Depends on the situation and what I'm fighting. And I think having a good, diverse amount of different ways to tackle any specific combat situation, or it's a good idea, really, to have, you know, something long range, something short range, something that does a lot of damage, something that might have special powers of some kind. I used to use that, like, enchanted boomerang all the time. That was pretty much my go-to weapon, but I haven't run into one of those yet. I assume they probably still exist, right? I mean, I don't know, but it seems pretty likely that they would. So if I could run into one of those, that would be cool. As well as, you know, some more chests with some cool stuff in them would always be nice. They're always very exciting when that happens. So, yeah, let's look for one of those. In the meantime, you know, I'll just keep thinking about what kind of cool swords or, like, ball and chain type setups we can make. I remember another really cool one I had was after I'd gotten to hell in a prior run, I think I had made, like, a flail. There was like a blue flail and an orange flail, and I think one of them was really annoying to get and the other one was way easier to get, but it might have just been random chance that I happened upon it. I don't know. A lot of stuff like that in this game. But that's, again, part of why we like it so much, I think, because everybody has a slightly different experience when they're playing it. How are we doing on depth right now? Let's look at the map. As it compares to our other tunnel, still not quite actually as far. But this tunnel seems to have yielded quite a bit of good stuff as well, so I'm not going to discount it by any means. What are we looking at in terms of ore right now in our inventory? Not all that much, actually. I thought we had more than we actually do. So there's only a handful of bars that we've had actually show up so far. So we'll continue on. I see a luminous something or other going on over on the left side. It's got a jellyfish in it. They always confuse me a little bit because I see them sparkling off in the distance and like, hey, something cool over here, but then it's just a jellyfish every time. I don't have to get so excited anymore, and it's a little disappointing, to be honest. So we'll keep on going left, and there's also a little cavern below us, which I'll probably want to open up as well. Very much looking forward to getting out of this early game point and getting to the part where it's like I can pretty much one-shot most of the enemies that we run into. Oh, there's some kind of weird mushroom down here. Looks bigger than the green mushroom we found before. Let's put a thing down. Oh, that is definitely not the same mushroom. Well, I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm pretty sure it's not the same mushroom. What kind of mushroom are you? I will discover in just a moment. And what can I do with you as well? Alright, so I can't break you. Can we... Oh, it's a teal mushroom. Probably used for dye or something, then. Welcome to dye. Okay, let's go back over here. I want to drain out this water area and see what's over in this side. A lot of times it seems like ore tends to stack up right around where water seems to be. I don't know, it's probably a coincidence, but in my experience, it seems like a pretty common one. I feel like I've said that before in this, but I might not have, I don't know. Say a lot of words, you know, you do a bunch of recording of the same game, after a while you start talking about some of the same topics, which is why we're going to probably not talk about the same topics pretty soon. But we're just about to a boss, so I think that's going to be a good time. And I think it'll mark, you know, it'll be a fairly good delineation point from one thing to the next about, like, where we are progression-wise in the game. You know, once you've defeated that first boss, you know, you can't go back. You've crossed the threshold and you've started the proper game then. You know, the real Terraria starts here or something like that. Alright, we've got a bunch of tin ore. That's not exactly what I'm in the market for at the moment, but I'll take it anyway because, I don't know, I guess it's good to have fat stacks of every kind of ore we can find. I've had a number of people inquire with the possibility of doing like multiplayer Terraria, that they want me to join their game or they can join my game. Not that I'm necessarily against the sentiment of it, but for now, not doing that, just because I want to keep this being somewhat of a, I don't want to say first impressions thing, because obviously I've played like 100 hours in this, so it's not my first impressions, but this patch, I mean, is full of things that I have not yet experienced, so I don't want to get myself into a position where, you know, people are starting to drop me good items, or like I just discover stuff that I might have normally taken a bunch of time to get to. That was a couple of drops of gold here, I guess. Yeah, it's little bits of gold. Little nuggets. Somebody said I say nuggets all the time in this Let's Play. I do. I'm proud of it. I like saying nuggets. This is an awkward way to fight a battle. So yeah, I mean, I've also had people mention, like, maybe I could collaborate with BizSnap. I've actually talked with him already about it. and he's also getting the same comments on his videos, so rest assured we are in communication to some extent. But I think we both feel pretty much the same way about it right now. Probably not happening. Not that we wouldn't in the future, but I think what it's going to come down to is probably, at least in my side, I would want to finish the majority of what I wanted to accomplish in the game solo, and then we could maybe link up and meet for some kind of collaboration after the fact, especially if we're going to need each other's help, because I know the game gets extremely difficult later on. Oh, I see there's a little tunnel to the left. I guess we'll go ahead and explore that. Could toss a neon glow stick in here. Trying to remember all the comments that stuck out in my mind that I wanted to address. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to hit all of them, but I think hopefully the majority of the big ones I've already hit. And I will continue to speak on them if they jump into my head. Okay, a little bit more lead over here. Not enough to really make an appreciable difference, though, it looks like. So I'll make sure I make a glass bottle. I think I've had one already, but I'll make a few of them to add to my collection. Oh, good tip also on making mannequins. I forgot that that was a thing. So mannequins will be a great way to show off armor sets. And that's actually a really, like, a better way to do what I was trying to do. So I always appreciate those comments that are actually just like a straight-up objective improvement over whatever it is that I thought I was doing in my way. Although I guess we all have slightly different assertions of what is objectively better than things, which sort of makes them subjectively better, doesn't it? It's kind of weird how that works. But yeah, I get that in a lot of different realms, people claiming things to be objectively true that are really just subjectively true, and, you know, just gotta look at things in a broader scope sometimes. Especially when we get into conversations about, like, what is a game, what isn't a game, what is a good game, what is not a good game. Well, there are definitely things that are objectively bad games, I think, but, well, no, you know what, I won't even go so far as to say that, because there's value that people take from things that I wouldn't necessarily be able to ever come up with on my own perspective. So, you know, if people, they really like whatever, what was that crappy zombie game that came out that everybody, like, universally kind of hated? I don't remember the name. It was War Z, was it? You know, there are people who probably find value in that game, maybe because they worked on the game, or maybe because they have a memory that had something to do with something that happened. I don't know. I'm making a big stretch of an argument right here, but hopefully you get the point that I'm making behind it, which is that a lot of times assertions should not be asserted so hard and fast as they are. Let things hang a little bit, be a little bit more loose about it, and, you know, let everybody have their own perspective, because I think that's important as well. You got to acknowledge that everybody's got their own take on the world, and we can't all see things the same way. It's just the way the world works. We're all born in different places, in different circumstances, with different viewpoints and different tastes and perspectives, and, you know, we all have different palettes when it comes to things, whether I mean literally with taste or when I mean it like art sense or, you know, just preferences in general. So, yeah, try to, you know, be a little bit more accepting every time you find yourself about to condemn someone for an opinion on something. I like to take a step back and try and see it from a different perspective. Of course, there are always times when people just are just jerks, and that's fine. Like, people do that, and you can't really do anything about it. It's just going to happen. It's the way of the world. A lot of the time when I get people like that want to just be negative and be detractors and try and make my day worse because whatever reason they have, I try my best not to let them, although, you know, as much as I try to have thick skin, can't always happen. I try my best, but a lot of the time, you know, it still creeps in a little bit. A lot of the time, my best technique for that, I find, has been to just start writing a comment and reply, and then, you know, right when I'm about to hit reply, just delete the whole thing. You know, I get to say my part, I get it out of me, and then it can just disappear into the ether, and I don't contribute to the negative cycle that spins out of control so quickly, especially in YouTube comments of all places. I have seen more than my fair share of ugly, ugly, horrible things being said to people for basically no reason at all. So I try to be very positive when it comes to how I receive things, and I even try to give people the benefit of the doubt most of the time, in that if they say something that I would perceive as to be generally pretty horrible, maybe they're just having a bad day, maybe they don't really mean it, or maybe they're not informed correctly as to what exactly it is that they were contributing to in terms of conversation. Maybe they don't have, you know, a properly nuanced perspective to be making an assertion such that they did. So, you know, a little side rant here about how I handle YouTube criticism, I guess. But I thought we might as well get into that, because we're doing some mining, and it's taking a while. Uh-oh, what's this? I see... Oh, okay, it's just rocks. I thought we found something cool. I am mistaken. But, you know, honestly, the Terraria comments have been very, very positive. There have been very few things that are awkward or difficult to read or painful to watch, as is so often the case. I actually make that joke all the time, because people, for whatever reason, they seem to use this like it's a speaking point. Like on, you know, news networks or something. Like, there is some reason that people need to always say something was painful to watch. And I've always wondered, like, why do you need to use that description every time? Like, why can't we come up with a different way that's a little bit more descriptive, that might actually help maybe not make the next thing painful to watch? Because if you just say, this was painful to watch, that doesn't really tell me anything about why you thought that. And it doesn't really even tell me anything, because honestly, videos really can't cause you physical pain. I mean, they can cause you physical discomfort if they make you motion sick, I guess. And they can give you a seizure, I guess, if there are a lot of flashing colors or something. But for the most part, the way that people use that term, no, the video is probably not causing you any actual physical pain. So you're just not being truthful in saying that. And it's, well, I mean, I understand that you're not being literal when you say that, but it's also just like, it's not really helpful. If your comment doesn't in any way really contribute to a conversation, if it's not constructive criticism, if it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't lead to another thing that someone can say back to it, like, where do you go with that? Because a lot of times if you ever responded to something like, that was painful to watch, and say why, they'll just say a horrible thing to you, and then the conversation will end. Or you'll have to block them or something. It's just, I don't know, it's like flame bait at that point, and I don't really understand the point of it. So, yeah, that's not a thing that I ever like to see in general. And I have no problem with criticism. If people want to say, you know, things that are actually fair to say. Like, I had somebody on Indie Impressions videos the other day say, like, that they're not a fan of my intros because they take too, or my outros, rather, because they take too long. Or I say the same thing too many times, or anything like that. And then there was a little back and forth about, like, that, you know, the people have a right to criticize things. And I agree, actually. You do have a right to criticize things. Honestly, you have a right to say whatever you want at all. Like, I can't stop you. I mean, I can stop you from writing things necessarily on my page, but I don't really want to censor anyone, as long as they're not just being blatant, huge jerks, ever. Like, I mean, I'll even give you a pass most of the time if you turn around and be like, you know what, sorry, that was probably not the right thing to say. I don't care. Like, I'll deal with it. We all say things we don't mean sometimes, and I've certainly probably said my own fair share of things I didn't mean in the past, so yeah, I can deal with, you know, even horrible criticism once in a while, especially if the person treats me like a human being on the other side. Because that's the thing I think people forget, is the people making videos that you're replying to, yeah, you're anonymous when you're writing a response to it, but the other side of things is the person who's hearing those comments, they're not anonymous. And if people decide to get on like a hate bandwagon, you know, one of those things where everybody just feeds into each other, and it becomes just an awful, you know, circle of just depressing negativity, the person that is causing that negativity basically has nothing to lose by it, right? But the person who's reading that negativity, most of the time, they're just trying to do their thing and have a good time and bring usually free content for the internet that if people don't like it, I mean, they're fair to say they don't like it, but no need to personally attack the person, in my opinion. And I guess everything I say, I mean, I kind of feel like I need to put that on there all the time. It's just my opinion, but yeah, I mean, that is always the case. It is just my opinion. I'm never asserting that I am factually correct, and you're free to dispute anything I say, and in fact, I encourage it, because a very important thing to me is critical thinking in all respects and manners in life. So if you say, or if I say something you don't agree with, by all means, feel free to give me your perspective on it. I just ask that you be respectful and courteous and cordial if possible. And I don't even mind occasional hyperbole, you know, if you get into a bit of a heated argument, if we get passionate, that happens. I understand that that's part of discourse, and I've done it myself. And occasionally, you just can lose your temper, but it doesn't mean you have to resort to, you know, ad hominem attacks and trying to tear down a person by their character when we're just discussing a topic. Like, that's a thing that always bugs me, when people get, like, too personally invested in an argument, and they just don't want to carry on the argument anymore in a reasonable way, so they just start trying to hurt the other person or be, you know, negative in an unreasonable way. that has basically nothing to do with the argument. That is what an ad hominem attack is, by the way, if you didn't know. Hey, I found a heart crystal, hooray! So, yeah, keep that in mind, I guess, if you're a frequent watcher of my videos, and you've ever wondered about how I see things when I receive comments, because it seems for whatever reason in this last week or so I've gotten a very large, disproportionately large actual number of painfully negative comments, and I say painfully in that, like I try to ignore them, but it still sort of creeps into my psyche, and it sort of bothers me. Again, I'd have to have thick skin if I'm doing anything like what I am doing, which is being in the public eye to some degree. You know, even if my following is the size that it is, I mean, I am still in the public eye, and anyone is free to come watch what I'm doing and have their own 2 cents put in. And in fact, I encourage it, because the more people watching me, the better I am in general, the better I can live, the happier I am, and all of that. So, yeah, I would never turn away someone based on their criticism. I just prefer to foster an intelligent community of people who are, you know, critical thinkers if possible, people who respect being, you know, gentle people, gentle individuals toward each other, if possible. Not that you always have to be, but I appreciate it when you are. That's all I'm trying to say. So, that was quite a rant, and it looks like we've discovered a pile of new areas here, including, oh, we've found our way under the corruption, and that is actually several corruption orbs, which should summon the Eater of Worlds, I think, if you kill 3 of those, and I found a whole bunch of gems in the wall here. Oh my goodness, well, where are we on the map even? Oh, we've made our way quite far away from our initial house starting point. And there's a lot still left to explore here, so I'm thinking maybe I'll wrap up the episode at this point. I think we had a pretty fun discussion here, or I enjoyed speaking on that topic for a while anyway, because it's a thing that comes up a lot. And it might be a thing, hopefully, that you've been curious about, like how do YouTubers see that, and how do they react to that kind of thing, because it's a thing that I think generally any YouTuber that's been doing this for more than a month or so is going to start to see. I mean, I don't know why I said a month, it really could be any time period, but it is part of this job, or part of this hobby, depending on how you approach things. And it's just, you know, gotta have thick skin, take it however you can, and try and foster, hopefully, a good, intelligent community around what you're doing. And I think you guys are generally very much exactly the type of people that I like to hang out with anyway. So, there are a few people that come in, maybe they don't know how we do, and then they learn, hopefully, or they're not into it, and they leave, which is also fine. It's not like I'm trying to trap people here, man. If you're not into it, then you're not into it. I can't force anybody to like what I'm doing. And I certainly still have plenty to learn, so please don't get me wrong and say that, that I think I have any expectations about that, you know, I can do no wrong, or, you know, I can't make mistakes. Of course I can make mistakes, and I still take criticism all the time, and I still try and adapt to make, hopefully, the best whatever it is that I'm making at the time. So, this is a very long way for me to say that I appreciate criticism, and I do listen to it. I guess with that, we will wrap up our episode, and we will return next time and continue to explore this cave system, get the resources we need, get our armor built, and then get on to fighting some boss action, fighting some bosses or something. I don't know, probably just one boss at a time. I don't think I need to get into the Eater of Worlds as well as the Eye of Cthulhu, and I'm pretty sure the Eye is always the first boss, right? I mean, I guess I could fight them out of the order that they're usually presented in, because I have some bombs in my inventory also, which allow me to break through the corruption, and that is kind of an important thing to be able to do at times. So, we won't be in the underground for much longer, trust me. I will guarantee you that I won't stay here for the entirety of the next episode. That would be pretty awful, and I know you don't want to see that. I don't want to do that either, so I will catch you then. Oh, I found some more gold. Terrific. And thank you for watching, everybody, and thank you for being here in general, and continuing to leave awesome support and great comments and really useful tips for me, and I will continue to read them. And I hope to see you for plenty more episodes, whether that be in Terraria, Spelunky, Rogue Legacy, whatever else, Tower of Guns, Indie Impressions, Magic the Gathering. I'm not saying this like I'm wrapping up any series or anything. I just, for some reason, decided to summarize all the Let's Plays that I'm doing right now. So I'll catch you next time, guys. Thank you again, and I will see you later.